Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Champion Connections. I'm your host, Chris Coleman. Now, my guest today is Stacy Lemus, hailing from the beautiful state of California. She's in the music industry. She's a PR person. She manages one group, two groups, and a producer, and she also does AR. She's only been doing it for 4 months. So, all those that are in the music industry and that are looking to get their feet wet, you need to hear this story because she can do it, had no experience in this industry, and was actually a biology student. You can do it, and she's still in college. So, enjoy.
I'm Stacy Lemus. I work in the music industry. I just started about 7 months ago. Not 7 months ago, sorry. Like 4 months ago. I manage 2 rappers. I manage a producer. I do PR work for a group called The Solstice. And I'm doing a little bit A&R work for a beat battle that's being put together.
Okay. 4 months. You got in my head, I heard 20 bands, 20 groups. One, how did you even get involved in the music industry?
I have always loved music. Music has always been my passion. I loved it, And I was originally going to school. I was majoring in biology.
Holy crap.
Had this whole idea. I was going to study environmental law, go to law school, all that. And then I just finally realized last January that I wanted to do something I loved and I knew I was never going to get tired of. And I love music. I used to I still do, but going to events and shows and, doing meet and greets and stuff like that, I loved it. So I figured I can do that and I can make money for doing it. So I just decided in last January that I was going to pursue a career in music, and then all within 3 months in June, producer Ski Beats had hit me up on Twitter and asked me to help him put together a beat battle here in LA.
Wow.
And that's basically what kicked everything off.
Wow. Okay, so first off, you're like a baby genius. That's out the way. How did you, get the opportunity? Because someone hitting you up on Twitter instead of you hitting them up is very unheard of. So let us into your Twitter guru magic that you do.
Oh, okay. First off, I went to the Merge concert. I actually have the poster that I got from that concert signed right there, hanging on my wall.
Look at you.
Yes. It's signed by Merge. I met him last November. It was the weekend, it was the Thursday before Thanksgiving. And Ski Beats was there. He did a live beat performance. And Tabby Benet was there. While Tabby Benet was on stage, they called up girls on stage. And, of course, I don't know what happened, but I got pulled up. And I don't like to, be in front of people like that. I'm not a flashy person like that. So I went over to the side, and Ski was on the side. And, I just started talking to Ski it was no big deal. I was nervous. I was out there just talking to people. So me and him talked, whatever. And then we followed each other on Twitter, on Instagram. And then here and there, me and him would have conversations on Twitter, not a big deal. And he in June, he started promoting his beat battle that he was going to have this past July in New York. And I was like, oh, that's dope. LA needs something like that. And then, he hit me up in my DMs and he was like, let's exchange information. I gave him my number and he called me and he was like, let's do this. He's like, I want you to help me put together this beat battle in LA. For me, that was a big deal because, Ski Beats, he was part of Rockefeller, he was part of Rock Nation. So that's a big deal for me. And I was just, I still consider myself nobody. So that was like a huge thing for me when he came at me and he asked me to do something so large.
Yeah.
So I said, sure. I mean, why not? He knew that I had no experience. He was throwing me in cold. Like, he knew. So the first thing I did is, guy I was dating at the time, uh, he's a rapper. And, I met a lot of people through him. Like, I met, Homegrown Radio through him. I met, his Twitter name is, at Solace Money, is Brian Solace. He's, part of he owns Magnetic Music. Um, First thing I did was I ran to Solace, and I was like, "This is what happened. What do I do?" Because I was completely lost. I didn't know where to get started. So I hit up Solace and I asked him all these questions, and ever since then he's basically been my mentor, and he's been helping me, guiding me. I mean, he's done everything that he can to put me in the right hands and push me into doing things that nobody my age has done or will have done, this quickly. I mean, it's only been within all summer. It's been crazy for me. I mean, I just started in June and it's September, and all summer I dedicated my life to music.
Wow.
So it's amazing and I love it, and I know that this is what I want to do.
Well, that is actually very awesome because you always hear about these stories like people like, I want to be a rapper, I want to be in music. Then like 10 years later, they still want to be a rapper and they want to be in music. And you did this in 4 months, especially in LA. Like, that's a huge scene. I tip my hat to you. You are truly a champion.
Thank you.
Hands
Thank
down.
you. It was amazing to be able to, experience so many things. The first thing I did was I knew I needed judges for this battle. So that's basically, this beat battle is what opened up everything to me. So I hit up, Solace, and I was like, I need a judge. So he introduced me to Willie B, who is part of TDE. He's produced for Kendrick. He produced Rigor Mortis. Ignorance is Bliss. He produced for Wale. He's on the Faloran mixtape, the Fawiwi style. Willie B produced those beats, and he introduced me to Willie B, and from there, Willie B agreed to helping me and being a judge. Since then, me and Willie B have actually grown a relationship, and it's not just business between us. Like, he's a homie. I can hit him up if I need something, and he's down. And he's the same with me. Like, he's hit me up for things, and I've done what I can do for him, which was amazing. Is I actually got him an interview with Vibe magazine.
Whoa.
Yeah. That was a big thing for me because all I did was basically put my sources to use. Like, I knew somebody who wrote for Vibe magazine, who's actually Corey Towns, who's DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, we went to school together.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah.
Well, I know. I met him on Twitter, and we just started talking on Twitter here and there, and I found out he wrote for Vibe, and then he had really dropped his recent instrumental mixtape. He did like HD videos on Instagram. It was really cool, and I had seen Corey comment about it, so I was like, why don't I put the two together? He writes for Vibe, and he liked Willie's, videos. So I set that up, and he interviews him for Vibe, and that was just amazing for me. Like, to know that I did that. Like, I put those two together, and I got Willie B, who's this, successful producer in the hip hop industry. And I got him an interview with Corey Towns, who's DJ Jazzy Jeff's son, which totally blew my mind when it happened.
So, all right, for people that are looking to get into the music industry, obviously you haven't had the most traditional route, but you have done a lot of things that, like, I don't know if you really knew what you were doing, but you've done them, like finding a mentor, networking, utilizing social media, creating partnerships. What can you say has been like the one obstacle that you faced and so far your journey?
My biggest obstacle is getting people to take me seriously. People see me and they're like, "You look so young," and it's like, "You're so young. You don't have a degree yet. You just started, but you can do all these things." People don't. It's really hard for people to take me seriously until they see, Corey or Willie B or Solace or Tabby Benet or Ski Beats, reach out to me and talk to me and things of that nature. Like if they see Glasses Malone tweeting me, they're like, "Oh, when people started to actually take me a little more seriously when I was in the studio a month back with Willie B. I was, talking to him about the interview. J Rock was in the studio. We were at Glasses Malone studio, so it was Glasses Malone, J Rock, Jansport J, and Willie B, and we were all in there. So I was like, "This is perfect." So I took a picture of it, and I tweeted it, posted it on Instagram. And that night, I was in the studio with Willie. We're going over our stuff, and my phone starts blowing up. And I showed Willie. I was like, "Look at this! Like, this is crazy!" Like, I thought it was so crazy, and I was just like, "Wow!" Like, it was insane. And what tripped me out even more is, I mean, Willie are talking, and you see the glow in his face. And he's so excited because of the interview. He turns around and he tells J Rock, "She's that girl. She's that girl." And I was just like, man, like, for that to, like, for Willie to be that excited about what I did in front of J Rock was a huge thing for me. Like, insane. And, so my biggest obstacle was getting people to take me seriously. Like, it's really, really hard. I mean, like I said, I manage 2 rappers and a producer, and when I try to do business, people look at me and they're like, "You're 22. You're 22, you're 5'2", and you're tiny, this tiny person. Like, what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't be here." People look at me like that all the time, and I'm just like, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm good at. Like, you can stand there and you can tell me that, I'm nobody, but look at all these people who know what I can do and what I'm capable of. I was like, they outweigh you. I have so many people on my side that uplift me and motivate me and, show the world that I actually am something. And just a couple of weeks ago, Willie B had tweeted something that was like, it was beautiful. Like, I felt like I was actually, doing what I was supposed to do. He had tweeted that I was an awesome person and that I help people out of the kindness of my heart. And, everything I do, I'm not expecting something in return. And he was just talking about how great I am at what I'm doing and how I pursue my passion without pushing onto people. Like, I don't force myself to work with somebody. It's, I build a relationship. I build, this bond with somebody before I work with someone. Because when I ask, who I'm working with, "How are you doing?" it's going to be genuine. I really want to know how you're doing. It's not just, "How are you doing? Okay, now let's get to work." Because that's not I believe that's not how it should be when you work. You should always want to be around the people that you're working with. Because if you're not, then it makes it hell. It makes it hell for you, and it makes it hell for that person. So all you have to do is the main thing is love what you do. If you love what you do, it's never work, ever. And I witnessed that. I mean, I gave up my summer and my social life for music, and I love it. I don't regret it at all.
And it sounds very cliche, but I can also attest to what you just said. Every aspect. However, seeing that you gave up your social life, you're pursuing your dream, you're making these awesome connections. Once you leave those connections, you're back in the real world. How have you been able to I guess surround yourself or find those friends that understand what you're doing and are "Hey, we know you're going after this, we support you," etc. As well as when you're going after your journey or whatever your dream, you grow and you begin to change as a person. And some people are "You're not the same as you used to be. we can't be friends, you're better than us, blah, blah, blah. How have you been able to straddle that balance, that line?
Oh, that has been really, really hard. I have two cousins, Karina and Sam, who are really close to me. Um, they, I would say, are the the only ones in my family. I would say that, and my brother Brian, who understand what I'm doing and support every move that I do. They understand that me, going to the studio to watch my artist's work or to go into a listening session because Willie B called me in because he wants to show me a track or he wants my opinion on something is means a lot to me. That's respect. Like, if somebody respects me enough to want to know my opinion on their music, that's a big deal. So, they understand that and they've grown um, to accept it. This past Rock the Bells, this was like last weekend, 2 weekends ago, it was my cousin's birthday. I had a chance to go in for free VIP with Tabby Benet, and I told him no because it was my cousin's birthday. When I told my cousin, she told me, "What are you doing here? You should have went." And that's when I knew she supported my dream. I was going to miss her birthday. But I mean, I still went to her birthday because I had promised her a month ago that I would go. I designated that day for her. So,
Oh, you're so kind.
Yeah, I am.
I probably would have went to Rock the
like
Bells.
that,
Not gonna lie.
yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. But, so that right there, I knew, and my brother, I took him with me to go see Alexander Spit. And I had business to do with Alexander Spit that night. And for my brother reminds me every day that there are fans of the artists I work with. Because, I mean, I work with hip-hop artists, not all of them are on the radio, but they are big. So when my brother comes up to me and he tells me, all these things about these artists, and I'm just like, it puts a smile on my face, and it reminds me, that he's there and he supports everything I do. When I told him what I started doing, he fell in love with it. He loved it. So, there's a lot of things that happen. I have my best friend. I met her junior year in high school. She loves music as well. She is my biggest supporter. I would say she is my backbone. She believes everything that I do. She's a photographer. She takes pictures. She does it as a hobby, but I'm trying to get her to do it professionally.
Oh, cool.
So I use her when I need my artist, to do a photo shoot. I use her because she takes amazing pictures. So, she supports everything that I do. She loves what I do. When I tell her, this is what I have to do, she understands. I ignored her all summer because of what I was doing, and she's actually in my kitchen right now.
Oh.
So she knows, she supports everything that I do, and I couldn't have asked for a better support group.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you keep mentioning time. I know trying to catch up with you is like literally impossible. So how do you manage and balance your time as a student, as a worker, as a friend, whatever you do?
Yeah, that is extremely hard. Most of the time now, when I go out, I'm working. I'm going to an event, to a show, which are things that I used to do for fun, but now it's work. So I go out, but, I don't go out the way I used to. I don't drink. I don't, dance or whatever. I mean, I'll have a drink here or there to socialize. So there's that part of my social life, going out. Going out with my cousins or my friends is very, very hard. I normally only do that if I invite them out with me to an event or wherever I have to go. Or if they tell me like a month in advance and I know that there's nothing important on that day, then I hang out with them. I mean, I haven't, other than these past 2 weekends, because last weekend was my best friend's birthday, so I had to be there because I didn't make it to her 21st. So my cousin's weekend and my best friend's weekend, those are the only times I've hung out with them like that in a very long time, since like the beginning of summer. So my social life is very, very, very hard. It's I going into this music business, when I agreed to it, I knew I wasn't gonna have a social life anymore, and I was totally fine with that. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna have a social life anymore. When school starts, I have school, work, and then I have music, and then I play softball Friday nights and Sunday nights. So I was like, there goes my life.
You're like a jack of all trades out here.
Yeah. So, with school, what I did is I actually did my school schedule around my daytime job. So I go to school in the morning on like Monday and Wednesdays, and then I go to work right after. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to night school. So I had to manage everything, and since school is, my priority right now, I have kind of not put as much effort into music as I did this summer.
Fair enough.
Only because I know I gave it my all this summer, and I knew, like Solace, who's my mentor, me and him have sat down and we've talked about how crazy it is that I've come this far. And he tells me every time, where I'm at right now, it took him, when he first started, it took him 5 years to get where I'm at right now. That I did in 4 months, it took him 5 years. Solace works with big artists. Like, he works with Ty Dolla. He works with Problem. Like, he works with big artists, with Kiko Bangs. Like, that's big for me because those artists have music on the radio. So, for me to be at where it took him 5 years to get and it took me 4 months to get, he tells me all the time, if I push as hard as I keep pushing, I'll be where he's at in a year. So with that, I try to manage my time evenly as much as I can. I mean, there are times where I feel like I'm not doing as much as I can for music where I really should be. I mean, I'm at work and school, so I can't always be on my phone. I can't constantly be sending out emails. I can't be in the studio all the time. I can't, go to every event the way I want to because some of them are during the week. Yeah. The studio's hours run late, and I have to be up early in the morning for school, or an event is happening and I'm at work. Like, I mean, I can't put my all in like I did this summer, but I try my absolute best. And if I know, the artist that's having the event or, the studio session that I can't make it to, I will let them know exactly why I can't be there. And, most of the time they're okay with it because they understand I'm a student. I'm a student and, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing what I have to do to make it in this world.
For sure. So
my time is very precious. If you have my time, please don't waste it because it's ridiculous.
Well, I appreciate you for taking time to do this. Next time I know, a month in advance, fill in on your schedule.
I found time for you this week. I was just like, I would look at my schedule completely and I was like, okay, this is what I have open at this time. And,
Well, fair enough. So, since we don't want to waste too much more time, I got 2 last questions for you. Obviously, it takes a certain somebody mentally and emotionally to take and ride this journey. What motivates you every morning when you wake up to just keep going?
The fact that my dreams are actually unfolding in front of me. It's like I never woke up, and it trips me out every day. I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, I'm just caught in a daze because I, I know the people that everybody wants to know. I'm around all these people, and it's not a big deal to me. And that's right there is my motivation, is to keep the relationships I have. Like, if I ever want to have, a corporate job working in music, I know that these people will be there for me. So my motivation every time I wake up is to keep pushing and keep these relationships and do what I wanted to do. I know I didn't give up, law for environmental law for music for no reason. There was a reason behind it, and obviously I'm pursuing that, or else I wouldn't have made it as far as I did. But
Sure.
there's 4 men in my life who have, or 4 friends, I should say, who have actually helped push me and keep me motivated to where I am. Ski Beats being one of them, for taking me in knowing that I had no experience. Solace, for being my mentor and taking me along to meetings and, introducing me to all these people and helping me build who I am. He basically built who I am. My mentality and the way I work is all because of Solace. He's done a lot for me, and I am truly grateful for him. Um, Willie B, who, he didn't have to agree to be a judge. He didn't have to, meet me. And his support means a lot. His support is a really big deal to me, because before I met him, I was a really huge fan of his music. And now that I get to sit in and listen to him and watch him make music, drives me crazy. It's insane. And he is one of my motivators. And Tabby Benet. Tabby Benet is a huge motivation to me. He's gone with me to a couple events so that I wouldn't have to go alone. He actually physically introduced me to Murs. He invited me to, him and Murs are actually filming a movie, and he invited me to the movie set. Personally invited me to the movie set,
Oh wow.
and I got to go, behind the scenes or whatever, and meet Murs in day one, and it was really cool. So he motivates me. I see the way he lives, and I'm just like, damn. So those are my three friends who keep me motivated. I know it sounds weird because these are famous people who have made it in the music industry, but these are actually my homies, and they've done a lot for me, and they keep me motivated every day.
So rolling into motivation, where will we see you in 5 years? Or where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, damn. I honestly haven't even thought about what I would be doing in 5 years, because I'm so focused on trying to make it now. I mean, everything goes into what it can be now, but every decision that I do now, every decision that I make now, and a move that I make, and people that I work with, and things I turn down, I think about the bigger picture. It's like, okay, if I'm going to work with you, I want to know, are you going to be able to make me look good in the future? I mean, are you going to be able to pursue your career in the future? These artists that I manage and I do PR work for, and these are not, I didn't just agree just because I felt like, oh, okay, I'll manage you. Like, it's not a big deal. I sat down and I looked at their pros and cons, and I looked at their talent, and I was like, okay, these artists are really talented, and I know that they will be able to make it in the music industry. They have good work ethic, they're talented, they're young, they know what they're doing. So I look at things like that. Everything that I've looked at and I've basically put together, I think in about 5 years, I've never thought about this until right now,
Oh.
that I will actually be, I will actually be where I want to be in 5 years. I will be, living the life that I've been dreaming about. I will, be backstage with artists all the time. I will be, I'll be able to get into a concert without having to be like, oh, can I I'm on Really V's guest list. Like I'm gonna be able to do those things, and that should be where I am in 5 years. I should be well established in 5 years. I mean, I don't plan on the media knowing exactly who I am, because that's not my goal. I like being behind the music industry because I'm like a shadow. I'm like this person's shadow. I'm basically helping them be who they are. I'm like artist shadow. I help them be who they are without me being seen. I mean, yeah, people here and there figure that I do something in music, but nobody really knows what. So it's kind of like a mystery for people, and I want to keep it that way.
Hey.
So, I hopefully in 5 years it's still that way, but I'm just a little
more well known
in what I do.
Yeah. Oh, that's money. Like she's good. She's cool. She has her own guest list. So before you're off the hot seat, one piece of advice for people going after their dreams, passions, whether it's music, business, dance, whatever. What do you have to say to them?
Never give up. If you know in your heart that this is what you want to do, and it's something that makes you happy, and you know that it's not just a phase, because people always tell me all the time, it's just a phase, you'll get over it, and it's not. And if you know that it's not, and it's what you love, and it's what makes you happy, and it's something you want to do for the rest of your life, go for it. Do what makes you happy. Do what you're going to wake up every morning and feel happy to go to. Because when you're happy, it's not a job. It's not. It's like a hobby, but you're getting paid for it. It's like a bonus.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. 4 months, pretty much touching hands with people that we hear and see all the time. So, if she can do it in LA, you can do it pretty much anywhere. Stacey, I thank you for coming on the show. You're awesome. You're truly a champion. Let people know where they can find you on the interwebs if they want to stalk your Twitter following or whatever.
Okay, thank you. My Twitter name is Stacy, STACY _flows. My Instagram is Stacy_Stace 73. And that's where you can find me online.
There it is.
Please don't stalk me.
Don't stalk her. She's really cool.
Don't stalk me. Don't stalk me, and don't fill my mentions up with music.
Just read her tweet. She describes everything she hates and likes. But once again, thank you. You're awesome.
When people spam me with music like crazy, I like for artists to interact with me before they decide to spam me their music. Start a conversation with me, Tell me what you do, things like that, and then be like, oh, when you have time, can you listen to my music? Not, here's my new video, watch it. Like, no, don't do that to me.
Well, I mean, since we've had multiple conversations, I'm about to come up with a rap album, so like...
Oh, okay.
I'll be in your DMs and mentions and all that good stuff.
I'll keep you in mind.
Wow. Wasn't that an inspiring story? I mean, no experience, knew she wanted to get into this industry, had a passion and desire, and just jumped all in. 4 months, working with some of the top names in the industry, and she's in California doing this, LA specifically, which is, bars none, one of the hardest places to get into this market. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any dreams, if you have any goals, this just showed you that you can do it. You can go after it. Now, this concludes, actually, Women's Month, which was this whole September. And take a look at all the people that we had on the show. We had engineers, we had singers, we had dancers, we had entrepreneurs. So many types of people. So many different aspects that you can take and use to your own life, whether you're a man, a woman, or whether you're in these industries or want to go into something different. There's so many lessons that we can learn from what these ladies have done. Now let's just go do it. And remember, we're all champions. We just have to make those connections. See you next time.